G'day and welcome to the Daily Business Tips Podcast. One of the things that I know I struggled with as a business owner, and I'm sure many other business owners have struggled with as well, is taking the time out to work on me. And I don't know if you've heard the saying by Jim Rohn, or even if you may not have even heard of Jim Rohn, but Jim Rohn's one of my favourite all-time entrepreneurs. He was an American guy, unfortunately passed away a few years ago, but was one of my great business mentors. Not that he mentored me personally, but I was one of his students. I listened to all his training, and he had quite a lot of quotes and sayings that really resonated with me. And one of those was, never wish your life were easier, wish that you were better. And I think the only way that you get better is by taking time out to work on yourself. However, as a small business owner, I quite often felt, I guess the word is guilty, about taking time out to work on me, taking time out to sit and reflect and just think. And I know it was funny. I was talking to somebody yesterday. In fact, I was interviewing a psychologist on my Business Brain Food podcast. Quick plug for that. Shameless plug. If you enjoy this podcast, go and check out Business Brain Food. It's where I interview experts. But I was talking to this psychologist about the benefits of going to training workshops, like these 2-3 day boot camps for business owners. And we were talking about one of the, what the greatest benefits were. And one of the greatest benefits that I got out of them was that I got some time to sit and think. I got some time to be with myself. And I think in today's age in particular, it's a fast-paced world we live in. We're very connected. There's very few times when you're not in demand or being connected to, or got, your phone's ringing, your emails are going, text messages, people are asking you questions. It's very rare that we're not connected to something. So I really want to encourage you to take some time out. And so I'm going to give you some ideas of what that could look like and then what you could do with that time, because I think it's very, very important. Some of the things that I do that I think give me good time out. Number one is I get the car washed. Now, I know that sounds kind of silly, that getting the car washed is me time. But what I do is I'll go to a car wash somewhere. I'm sure there's one near you somewhere, and they've typically got a cafe, and I will still be connected, but I'll use that time in a constructive way, because I know that I can sit there, I'm on the Wi-Fi, I can look at my plans, I can start thinking about what have I got to get done, how am I tracking on my project so far, what are the things I need to improve upon, that type of thing. So I use that as a bit of me time. It could be an hour typically that I'm there for, where they're cleaning the car, but I find that that's just one of those little quick and easy ones to do. So if you want to start with something small, that's a way to do. And like I said, as a business owner, I had felt guilty sometimes taking time out, because I felt like I always had to be doing stuff, but being busy is not actually a good thing, so you don't want to be busy. What you want to be is you want to be productive. And so this is taking me time out will help you do that. So the car wash is one way. Another way which works quite well for me, and I know it works for a lot of people, is doing exercise. So whether you go to the gym, I tend to go for a bike ride on my mountain bike, or I might go for a jog up at the park, or even on the treadmill. But I find that it's almost like a meditation. My brain relaxes, and it's just time with myself. I always put my headphones on, so it's very antisocial, but it's about just spending time with myself so I can reflect on where I'm at, where I want to go, what's working, what's not. And once again, it's a short period of time, and it's easy to do. These last couple that I've given you there are very easy to do, short notice, every single day, whether it's exercise, it could be getting the car washed, whatever. You might have your own methodology for this, but these are just little things that I do that work well for me, and they're just some ideas that you could use. Now, getting on something that needs a little bit more organisation, or something that's needs a bit more thought out, is a weekend away. But I'm not talking about a weekend away with your spouse or your family. I'm talking about a weekend away on your own. And this can be a really powerful thing to do, is just to go away, just overnight somewhere, and don't take your laptop with you. Just go away and think, right? Just use it as a weekend to be by yourself. Think through where you're at, reflect on where it is you wanted to be, what your goals were, and how you're tracking. Because I think we don't take enough time out as business owners to actually do these things, and I think it's very, very powerful. And it depends on what it is you like to do. I like to do things like I've got a couple of hobbies that really do isolate me from my day-to-day interruptions. And one of those is flying an aeroplane. I'm a pilot, and I love getting up in the air, because at 10,000 feet in my aeroplane, I can't be answering emails. I can't be worried about anything else except what's going on. That's one methodology that I use. And you might have your own thing that you can relate to, that you like to do, but that's mine. The other thing that I like to do is scuba dive. So getting below the earth. So I like to be either above it or below it. But below the earth, once again, same thing. There's no phones down there. There's no distractions. It's just me and my thoughts. No one can even talk to me. And I just love to glide along, get into that really, meditative breathing and do a lot of thinking. And I think, if you can find a hobby like that where you can do that sort of thing, that's always a plus. They're a little bit more tricky to do, though. It does take a little bit of logistics and you have to be qualified to do those two things. So their third idea, and this is another thing that I do, is find a hobby that relaxes you. And I've got a couple. One is photography. And so, there'll be times when I'll go out and just watch the sunrise. I'll be on my own. I'll take some photos, but really it's a couple of hours on my own. It's just some me time for me to think and reflect. And another one is woodworking. And I know, that's another one where I just sort of go down to my little workshop and I make stuff. But really, it's just a time to be on my own and reflect on what's working and what's not, and just some thinking time. And it gets my brain out of having to think fast-paced business-wise, which is where a lot of entrepreneurs struggle, is to get their brain to relax a little bit. Because I can tell you, most nights I go to bed, I put my head on the pillow, the cog's still turning, even though the body's stopped, and it's very difficult. The final thing, and this takes a lot more organisation, and this is going to include your family, is to go on holidays. I know too many business people that don't take holidays and they feel that they can't. And I think that's a real shame, because I think the cost of not taking time out to spend some time with yourself is a huge cost. It's more than the benefit of working every single week of the year. So you need to plan for some holidays. You need to be deliberate about it and say, this is what I'm going to do. Me and my family, we go to Fiji every single year. We have for years. Everyone knows that. And when I'm there, I do the things that I love. I do a lot of scuba diving when I'm away. And I on purpose go somewhere where they don't have televisions or internet in the rooms. And that sort of freaks a few people out. But I just want to escape, right? I want to escape from that so I can have time for the brain to really reset, spend some time with myself and getting to know me again, and understanding, you really start to think about your purpose, your why, and appreciate life and get that time to stop and breathe. So I know it sounds a little bit, I guess, woo-woo, if you want to call it that, but I really want you to encourage you. I wanted to encourage you today to think about, are you spending time with yourself, and is it quality time? Because unfortunately, there's not a lot of time that you spend with, in today's age where you actually get to spend it on your own, because of all the interruptions and the technology that we have these days. It's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day and never ever stop to take that break. So they're good things. Now, your idea could be going to a movie, it could be sitting in the park, it could be canoeing, it could be kayaking. It doesn't matter what it is. You just got to find something and make sure you're disciplined and you deliberately do it. Don't put it off. Put it in your diary and make sure you do it, and be okay, even if it's during the week, like when you're supposed to be at the office working or doing work, be okay with taking a Wednesday morning to go hiking or whatever it might be that you do. For years and years and years, I felt guilty by doing, but as soon as I took the time out to spend some time with myself and reflect and focus, I got better results. So, I know this works, and I've spoken to many entrepreneurs this works for. So, encouraging you to take that time. All right, just a reminder, if you are enjoying the podcast, head across to dbtpodcast.com, join the Daily Business Tips Tribe. That way you'll never miss an episode or special offer that we make out to tribe members only. So that's dbtpodcast.com. And if you are enjoying the podcast, please leave your feedback, your honest review and rating in whatever podcast application you're using, whether it's iTunes, Stitcher, Podcast Addict, doesn't matter. Leave your review there. We'd love to hear from you. The other thing you can do, if you are watching this on YouTube, give it the thumbs up. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. That way you never miss out on an episode. And until then, until next time, have a profitable day. Now, of course, I'm going to finish off my episode with a quote. It's what I always do. And this one's by Bill Gates. Bill Gates, I'm sure you know who Bill Gates is. And he says, as we look ahead into the next century, leaders will be those who empower others. So make sure you're doing your bit to empower those around you. Once again, thanks for joining me for the DBT podcast. I've been Ben Fewtrell. You've been fantastic. Until next time, have a profitable day.